So it is 3 o'clock, and we have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and start today's meeting. We'll start out with a roll call.
Matt Guillory. Jorge Charnico.
Here.
Dylan Bradway.
Here.
Betsy Brunstetter.
Here.
Donna Cervantes. Tyler Holmes.
Here.
Lee Peoples.
Here.
Ben Sellers.
Here.
James Farnham.
Here.
You have a quorum.
So everybody's been previously given a copy of the minutes. Are there any comments or amendments that need to be made to those minutes? If there are no comments, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Betsy.
Second.
We've got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Then it moves forward. Today we don't have any cases withdrawn. We also don't have any cases, any continuance request. Consent docket is empty. Cases for considerable consideration. Cases for individual consideration consist of one. Lisa or Michael, would you like to introduce that one?
Yes, this is a new application at the same site that you've seen a project in the last two agendas for the Jimmy John's restaurant at the southwest corner of Northwest 23rd and North Barnes. At the meeting last month, the previous iteration of the project was denied, and they have submitted a revised version of the project. It looks somewhat similar to the previous versions, although they've made some significant revisions, which we've gone into some detail in the staff report under previous actions on page 2 and page 3 of your staff report to explain what those changes are. Primarily, they've converted the site plan to one which has a primarily one-way circulation pattern for the vehicular pattern on the project, the entry off of 23rd and exiting only out onto Barnes. All the parking stalls have been converted to angled parking stalls as opposed to 90-degree parking. And that has allowed a little bit more room on the site to move the building around a little bit and give us a little bit more room out front of the building for some better landscaping along the property lines and the property frontage. But more importantly, they have been able to give us a floor plan positioned on this site plan that provides a full array of transparent windows along the Northwest 23rd Street frontage of the project. And that gives us a better pedestrian orientation to the street. Now, there are two versions of the same floor plan in your submittal or in your packet. One is Scheme C, and again, you can see here on the north side where you've got 1, 2, 3 windows and 2 doors that face Northwest 23rd Street. So that's a significant improvement. And part of the reason that that's been able to be accomplished is the fact that they've moved the drive-through window to the south side that does not face the street anymore, and therefore the kitchen area that is attached to that drive-through window is also on the south side of the restaurant. So almost, I would say, close to 80 or maybe 90% of the building on the 23rd Street frontage is dining area that faces the street. And so it has a lot of windows and doors on it now where we didn't have all that glazing before. The only difference between Scheme C and Scheme D is that it's basically a flip of Scheme C. And we've indicated in the staff report that we prefer this version because it gives us the glass on the east elevation facing North Barnes as opposed to facing the parking lot in Scheme C, which is over here. Facing the parking lot that's over here, and then the adjacent commercial development that's next door. Now, this building sits on the site plan, and essentially the same location it was before, although it's pretty much pushed back a little bit to the west and a little bit to the south. And you can see there's a little bit more landscaping around the front here than there was in the previous iteration of the project. We also have, I think, better pedestrian access from both 23rd Street and from Barnes in this version of the project. Because the building is more than 10 feet away from the property line, though, however, it still does require the variance, and we recommended approval of that, along with recommendation that you provide the Board of Adjustment with a recommendation for approval of the variance. That completes our presentation. I'm prepared to respond to any questions the Commission may have.
So is it up to us to determine whether it's option C or D? Is that?
Yeah, they wanted to give you an opportunity to look at both plans so that you didn't continue them again and have them come back and change it, so that at least you have kind of a menu to choose from. And as I mentioned in the staff report, we recommended scheme D.
So as we vote, the motion needs to state that. Is that the case?
Yes.
And then, okay. So is there anybody from the audience that would like to speak to the group?
Hello again. Anthony Peterson, Edmond, Oklahoma.
Just, if you could at some point.
I did actually
Okay,
right before.
great.
If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to help. I know that we've talked about it quite a bit, so if anybody has any questions or concerns or anything I can answer, I'm more than happy to.
No questions.
Okay.
Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak to the commission? All right. With that said, is there anybody that would like to put a motion out there, or is there anybody in the committee that would like to ask any additional questions to Michael?
I move to approve the application utilizing Scheme D on the basis that the project meets the regulations and guidelines of the Urban Design Overlay District zoning ordinance as referenced in Section C and D of the staff report, with the condition that the applicant shall obtain approval of a variance from the Board of Adjustment from the applicable front building line requirement.
Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a second, so we'll put it up for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then we have a unanimous vote. It's approved.
And we have another motion to provide a recommendation of approval to the Board of Adjustment for the variance of the front building line requirement.
Do we have a second on that motion? We have a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Again, unanimous vote. That moves forward. Second order of business is there's a meeting scheduled for consideration and possible action. Is that something that gets presented to us, the meeting schedule, or just something that we need to
We brought this schedule for 2017 to the Commission at the meeting last month, and it was approved. However, we noticed that the meeting date for November was quite close, or excuse me, I think December was too close to Christmas.
Right. After our last meeting, the City Council voted on the city leave schedule, and that's what made us go back and realize we needed to adjust some of our 2017 dates.
So we've moved the December meeting up 1 week, similarly to the way we've moved up the November meeting for Thanksgiving. So that's just the one change to the meeting date in December.
Is there any action required, or is this just simply, so we need to,
We need to...
okay, is there a motion to approve this revised schedule? To amend and approve, is that correct? Okay, is there a motion to amend and approve?
Motion to amend and approve.
Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I believe we have a unanimous vote. Now we have communications, administrative approval report. Michael?
Yeah, we have 6 items that were approved in the past month administratively by staff. One was a sign, one was an additional bike rack to the ones that were approved down in Capitol Hill a few months back. Another was an extension. We had a bunch of small revisions to Military Park, the design that was approved here a few months back also. And then there was two projects that are addressed on North Classen, but they're actually on Northwest 24th Street. And it's for the Trinity Church to operate a food pantry and a drive-through restaurant in existing buildings on that location.
Okay. Next, we have comments from Planning Department staff. No comments. Comments from commission members. No comments. Our next meeting is October 26th. New applications have to be submitted to staff by 4 p.m. Tuesday, September 27th. Revisions and information on continued projects are to be submitted by Tuesday, October 4th. With that, I will adjourn at 3:11 p.m. Thank you very much, everybody.